Hello and welcome to this video. Today we're going to be doing a stock analysis on BYD. Now, if you don't know, BYD is the leading Chinese electrical vehicle manufacturer. Now, the reason I want to highlight this is because I recently learned what their sales in China were in February. Now, recently, Tesla has taken quite a big hit in China, but as China is the largest car market on the planet, it's usually quite nice. But in February, Tesla sold 30,000 units, BYD sold 330,000 units. Now, if you don't know what a BYD looks like, it looks like this. So they are quite nice cars. I have personally driven them. They are very, very nice. Just the craftsmanship behind them is very nice, and they are gaining huge popularity in Europe. I live in Northern Europe, and I see them everywhere because their prices are so low, so they can compete, and the technology behind them is simply better. Also, because you might not know this, but recently BYD said they are making an autonomous vehicle driving mode like Tesla, where you don't have to drive the car yourself, and they said they might even make free for other car manufacturers as well. Which means, imagine if Volkswagen or Mercedes or Ferrari don't do that themselves and were wondering on Teslas, maybe now they would lean on BYD, because Tesla has always said if they were to make a autonomous driving mode, it would be a subscription based model. But if BYD can sell it for free, they would definitely need some GPS data to make their maps better or whatever, so it wouldn't be completely free. But if, let's say, Volkswagen wouldn't have to purchase the data each month from BYD and to make sure the platform works, that would be quite crazy. Now, if you take a look at the graph this year, it has been performing quite nicely over the past time. As you can see, all the way from 2024, it has been performing quite nicely, up from $22 all the way up now to 45. Now, it did recently take a tumble all the way from 50, and it did just recently perform this death cross here, which is, of course, isn't that great for the technicals. But we do see a bit of a return here. As you can see, it is trading a bit more sideways, and we even see some gaps in the stock here. So a bit interesting. As you can see, the 200-day moving average is getting a bit lower, and the 50-day is getting a bit up. And also, as you can see, the RSI, we are starting to move back upwards towards where we want to be. And recently, as you can see, the sell-off, we were also very much down in the RSI, all the way down in 24. So quite interesting at the moment. Quite interesting. And as you can see here in their earnings, they are making quite nice money. They missed one by 0.3%, but they usually beat them by more. As you can see, they just beat them by 118% back in October in 2024. So very nice. And the latest earnings is going to be coming out in 3 weeks. So I think personally they might surprise again there, as they are just a smidge higher than they were in 2024. But yeah, very interesting at the moment. They might beat this as well, just given how many cars they sold in the early stages of 2025. And as you can see, they are paying dividends, which is quite unusual for electric car companies. They usually don't do this because the margins are so low. As you can see here, the margins, they're not that great. 1% in 19, then 2%, 1% again, 4%, and now we're up at 5%. So it is getting better. We don't know what the margin for 2024 will be yet completely. As you can see, it might be a bit what it was like in 23, but we won't know that yet. But as you can see, they are raking in a ton of cash. The revenue is almost at 45 billion US dollars. Their net income is 4.26, but car manufacturers really don't get that much money from each car sold, especially the ones that sell cheap cars like this. Of course, I can give you another example. Volkswagen, and their margins also going to be low. As you can see, they sell a shit ton of cars also, but they don't make that high margins. Now, if we take someone like Ferrari instead, they are going to have quite better margins. As you can see here, less sold but better margins. So if you are getting into the car stocks, have an eye on that. The margins does mean quite a lot, but that is depending on what type of car company you're after. Now, if we look at the seasons here, as you can see, if my there we go, it is performing quite decent most of the time. We did, of course, have 2020 where it increased 420%, which was insane. But usually we are around here from the low 8s to the high 25, the 35% as we are now. Of course, in 22 it tanked, but then again, if you've seen some other videos, you are gonna know most of stocks tanked in 2022. Now, it is quite interesting to see how well it is performing as a Chinese stock, because it has been quite unpopular to invest in China these past few years. Very interesting at the moment. I like it quite a lot. Now, the technicals on this over the past month is a strong buy in the moving averages, even though the just was a death cross, quite interesting. Now the oscillators not that great, but oscillators aren't. I personally don't weight oscillators as much as I do moving averages, if I'm honest. So the summary is a buy. Also over the past week, as you can see, it's still a buy. So the technicals are quite nice at the moment. Now, if we take a look at the analyst rating here, as you can see, we have 32 strong buy, 4 buy, 3 hold, and 1 strong sell. And as you can see, it's spread quite widely wherever it is you want this to go. But I simply think it's because that BYD is the biggest car manufacturer in China and they make very nice batteries and extremely nice cars. So yeah, very interesting stock at the moment. I personally, this is my Chinese car manufacturing winner because just the craftsmanship behind the BYDs are insane. I would drive a BYD over a Tesla any day of the week. So if you want to get into the Chinese car market, I highly recommend you looking into this stock as it is very, very interesting at the moment. And I do think it's going to be a winner in the next 5 years when we see a bit more Chinese cars on the market, especially in the US and maybe also even in South America, which is opening up a bit more to electric vehicles. Now, if you did like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.